If there's one personality trait that's really going to ruin your life, it's going to be neuroticism, and this is why. So, neuroticism is correlated with so many poor life outcomes. It's correlated with poor work performance outcomes and also poor relationship outcomes. And the reason for this is neuroticism is essentially the ability to feel negative emotion, but it's much deeper than that. So, essentially, the way you think of neuroticism, the way you can think of neuroticism is that you can think about it is that it's somebody who feels that they are in danger. Things are in danger. I'm in danger. The world is in danger. Everything's in danger. And so a lot of our positive outcomes in life come from us having optimism, hope, certainty, and belief in someone else or in ourselves. For example, a relationship requires a certain level of belief in ourselves and in the other person. If we're constantly looking for what's going wrong, that often becomes emotionally exhausting in the relationship. John Gottman and Julie Gottman have a famous 5-to-1 positive to negative ratio in relationships. Essentially, if you fall below that positive to negative ratio, you are more likely to not have relationship success. A 5-to-1 ratio is essentially that you need 5 positive interactions to 1 negative interaction. If you have high neuroticism, your mind is just going to filter in only the negative. And this isn't because, you want to ruin your life or like you're a bad person or something like that. The reason that we become highly neurotic, and it's often related to genetic traits, but also childhood environment, is that we're trying to keep ourselves safe. We're looking for ways that we are not safe. What is going wrong? I need to be hyper vigilant for what's going wrong, because if I can be hyper vigilant, I can prevent it. The problem is that's like the biggest lie ever, because what often happens is that we'll be hypervigilant to all the negative stimuli, and then we'll create like this self-fulfilling prophecy of more and more negative stimuli, right? If we're always the person at work that's coming in and just being super negative about everything that's happening, problem is we might be right, maybe we're right, but people will start avoiding you. They don't want to be around you. They often think of you as someone that, is kind of like a doomsdayer, right? It gives people generally a very negative feeling to be around you, because negative emotions are extremely contagious. And a lot of the kind of decisions we make around other people are very subconscious. And the thing that happens is that if you're a very negative person, I will feel bad around you. And I might really, really like you, but subconsciously, I know that I feel bad about being around you. And I kind of will sort of try to avoid you, because I don't like feeling bad, because nobody likes feeling bad. It's kind of like touching the hot stove. You want to pull your hand away. And in this scenario, you are the hot stove. People want to pull away because you make them feel bad. And that might sound a little bit unkind, but that's the reality of life. And we have decades and decades and decades of research on neuroticism that showcases that this is one of the most corrosive personality traits to have. It is correlated with depression, anxiety, relationship collapse, doing poorly at work, not getting into those promotions, because you have this extremely negative view of the world, which actually makes very much sense for a lot of people's circumstances. But at the same time, it's really hurting you, which is so incredibly tragic, because a lot of people who have high neuroticism are just trying to prevent bad things from happening. And then what it does is it makes bad things happen, because you're so focused on the negative that you can't sustain a relationship, and you can't sustain kind of like good work relationships, and you can't give people that feeling of hope and certainty that they need to elect you as a leader, right? They can't follow you because they always feel bad. So if you've noticed this in yourself, then it is something that's an issue. And I know a lot of people who have high neuroticism will typically kind of try to hold on to it because they think that it's keeping them safe. If I wasn't like this, then my life would be a mess. If I wasn't like this, who would worry about the bad things? Who? Well, the thing is that it's not actually having as positive an outcome in your life as you think it is. And maybe you're starting to realize that. So if you're struggling at work, getting promoted, or if you're struggling in relationships, this might be one of the main reasons why. It is one of the most important facets of personality when it comes to life outcomes. And so if you've been wondering like what the heck is going on, then this might be it. And if you're interested in working on this, I encourage you to book a call with me and we can talk a little bit more about it.
Neuroticism isn't just a personality quirk. It's a survival strategy that backfires. It filters life through fear. eroding relationships, work, and self-worth. But here's the truth. You're not broken. You're trying to stay safe. And that instinct deserves compassion, not shame. If this hit home, maybe it's time to rewrite the story. Let's talk.